And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, Cheap Ludes, and it is time to talk about My Team Limited. So, My Team Limited this week is a little bit, I would say, interesting to say the least. You have to use one partially or fully evolved player, and 2 ruby or higher players is all you get, and your partially evolved player does count towards that, which is why I'm using Jeremy Lamb. All the rest of the players have to be Sapphire or lower, so I'm using Fred VanVleet, Duncan Robinson, Kawhi Leonard, Michael Porter, Marvin Bagley. I'm using Patty Mills, Seth Curry off the bench. Fred VanVleet I'm using just because I pulled him, so I want to try him out. Duncan Robinson, by the way, is super tight. Now, you could realistically use anyone. I'd probably be better off running like Damian Lillard or Devontae Graham. I'm just better with those cards, just because I haven't used Fred VanVleet before. Or even Patty Mills and Seth Curry if you want to go that route for the point guard. Duncan Robinson is wild, though. 89 three-pointer, 90 driving dunk, only a 72 ball handle, by the way, and only a 79 speed, 77 speed with ball, so he's not the fastest guy in the world. He's also not going to get the rim that well, but he's a lights-out shooter, so whatever. Kawhi Leonard's Kawhi Leonard. I'm using him because I pulled him. Honestly, Peja is not terrible either. Realistically, James Worthy, I don't think is really that good, personally. Darius Miles would be another player that I would use here that would be significantly cheaper than Kawhi. Darius Miles is very good. I'm using Michael Porter Jr. at power forward just because he's a Sapphire, he's tall, he can shoot, he can rebound a little bit. Marvin Bagley at center, there's really no other options here for me personally, just the way I play. Marvin Bagley has to be the guy. He's not the greatest. People say he's the best budget center in the game. Well, I do agree. I just think that's due to a lack of budget centers. He's pretty sluggish. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is. He seems to foul a lot, which doesn't make any sense because he has a 15 foul tendency. And so I don't really know 5 hard foul tendency, but he tends to foul pretty often, which I don't understand what's going on. And if 2K broke their own tendencies, that'd be very 2K of them. But really, I have no idea why he fouls the amount that he does. It's actually kind of weird. It's also frustrating. Very frustrating, if I do say so. It's super annoying. I'm using Jeremy Lamb because I need an Evo player, and I like him a lot. Derrick Jones Jr., I haven't Evo'd for this exact reason. And then I'm using Arvydas Sabonis over someone like, Kareem or any of the other centers in his range. I just like Arvydas Sabonis. Yeah, I'm not using Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, or Kobe, just because I like Seth Curry a lot and I want to shoot a lot of threes, and I need an Evo player, so I kind of have to use Jeremy Lamb because Derrick Jones Jr. is not Evo'd at all, which is very annoying. I kind of hate that 2K is doing it that way. It's super frustrating. But, feel free to mess with the lineup as much as possible. Also, it's not a terrible idea to take advantage of dynamic duos. If you do have some, like this Jordan and Pippen duo is really, really good. They play lights out defense and attack the rim at a high clip. This allows Pippen to shoot a little bit better too. That's a very solid duo to use. I don't personally like Steve Kerr and Klay Thompson duo just because I don't like having to use that. Steve Curry's not terrible, but Ben Gordon, he has a duo with Kirk Hinrich. That's actually not that bad either. Dynamic duos are really good. It's going to give these guys gold badges they wouldn't normally have. This Darren Williams, Carlos Boozer duo, shockingly, not that bad. Actually pretty solid. It turns Darren Williams into a very good point guard in this game, so it's not the worst idea to run it. Boozer kind of sucks, but so does pretty much every big man at the Sapphire or lower tier. Vince Carter, Chris Bosh duo, also pretty solid. I think the other ones I talked about are a little bit better, but that's just me. Grant Hill has a duo. Rashard Lewis and Hito is okay, but it's not really worth running. It allows both of them to shoot a little bit better, but that's about all you're really doing. Nick Anderson is actually a pretty good Sapphire card to run as well. He's a pretty good spot-up shooter. He can also shoot off the dribble a little bit, too. He's 6'6", so he's got nice height as well. Good jump shot. Nick Anderson is traditionally really solid in 2K, especially in the early game, so, take advantage of when you can use him. Darius Miles is probably one of the best cards in this game, especially one of the best wings, and you can get him for under 10K. That's still relatively high for a Ruby, sure, but Darius Miles might even be better than Kawhi. Overall, not defensively, obviously, but for certain play styles, Darius Miles might be superior. He's got a pretty solid jump shot. I forgot exactly what the base is, but it's the same jumper that Darius Miles always has. Relatively solid. Darius Miles is sick. Like, I'm actually shocked they made this card as good as they did. I still have to buy him. I'm just waiting for his price to go down because for whatever reason, I didn't pull him, which is very typical. Of course, the Darius Miles card, like one of the players I hype harder than anyone else, is the card I don't pull. Oh, he has Brook Lopez base. Yeah, with release 36 upper, which is the same upper as like Chris Boucher and D Brown. Super solid, but he's so well-rounded too. Like, this is one of the best. I don't call him a budget card. Like, I don't call any card that's 10K a budget card, especially at this point, you know what I mean? But he's one of the best mid-tier cards in the game. Like, pound for pound, price for price, he might be a better option than someone like Kawhi. Kawhi's like 40K, Darius Miles like 9. All right, so we matched up with someone with Bill Walton, Michael Porter Jr. I think he's running Seth Curry, Jalen Green. Oh, there we go. And then James Worthy, it would appear. Interesting. Probably just trying to get... By the way, he spent like 3 minutes in his settings, so who knows what this man is up to. All right, he's going to run a lot of pick and rolls. I can already tell that. He's just going to run Seth Curry pick and rolls. Not a sentence I thought I was going to be saying. I haven't used Fred VanVleet yet. He is a little bit small. There we go. Michael Porter Jr. Nope. So I'm a little worried about that, but he's really good defensively. But I just feel like Clamps doesn't do anything this year. I really do. Like, I feel like it's really not a thing. I feel like when it comes to a player with Clamps, like, they'll trigger, like, some beneficial animations, but I just feel like for the most part, it's not as, like, overpowered as it has been the last couple of years. Also, they definitely nerf steals, for sure. Like, that definitely happened, because I do not rip the ball like I was ripping the ball at all. Like, even with like someone like Roberson against the CPU, like you just don't rip the ball like you were for the first couple days, which I think isn't necessarily a terrible thing, but I feel like they just made steals like 2K21 now, which is like kind of unfortunate. So you're kind of thriving off bump steals and like reading lanes and stuff, which is like super annoying. Also, I saw a bunch of content creators saying this game has no skill gap. Look, my point on that is like, when you see players who are top tier players in this game saying there's no skill gap, don't buy into it. Like, really. Like, if you see me saying there's no skill gap, I'm probably complaining. I'm not even like a top tier player. I'm probably just complaining for no reason. But when you see guys who are like in the 250K tournament saying there's no skill gap, yeah, I don't know. If it was me in that position and I was saying that there was no skill gap, that just means I'm not as dominant as I was before. There we go, Kawhi wide open. Gonna get some ball movement going because this guy is running like crazy defensive settings. Like, I will say, like, the off-ball defense is very frustrating for sure. Like, it is annoying, but that's gonna naturally nerf itself though. That's the thing. Like, 2K doesn't need to make any patches to combat that because it'll be, oh my god, oh man, it'll be neutralized once we get shooting centers. Like, anyone with Dikembe Mutombo isn't going to have any issues with somebody paint sitting with their center. Like, they have such a natural advantage in that regard. To a certain extent, I don't either when I'm using like Chris Boucher. Like, because Chris Boucher, like, I'm wet with him from 3. I green very consistently with his jump shot, so it kind of neutralizes people paint sitting with the center at that point, especially if I'm running Hawks freelance and keeping him out. All right, Duncan Robinson. There we go. Oh my god, terrible. What is going on? This offense is pitiful. I don't have like any playbooks too, so I can't even like really experiment with plays. Don't leave Kawhi open. Kawhi still has Ray Allen base, so even though he has an 83 ball, like I said in my video last night, like, even though that's only an 83 ball, he's still going to hit more whites than someone with an 89. I promise. Unless that person has Ray Allen base themselves or like base 22. But that 80 jump shot on Kawhi is going to hit more more white jump shots than somebody with like a high arc base, like a Larry Bird base, or there we go. Get in there, Duncan. That's what we like to see. That's called effort. Duncan Robinson. He plays like not that much defense, but then again, like CPU defense is like overpowered anyway at this point, which I like, by the way. I know it sounds weird, like you're watching me struggle offensively, but I like that it's overpowered CPU defense. I feel like it gives people a chance, dude, for the most part. You know, I hate like 2K and people spending 4 minutes doing defensive settings. Like, and it puts you at such a natural disadvantage because they can make their CPU like do competent things. Whereas if you don't have those exact settings, like your CPU won't do anything competent. And I feel like that's what people mean for the most part with skill gap. Like that's what they're talking about. They're like, oh, anybody can just boot up and their defense plays well. Yeah, I mean, dude, these are NBA players. Like that's definitely how it should be. Like it should be. If anything, there's more of a skill gap because anybody who stands head and shoulders above everyone defensively and can score well on offense, that's a skill gap. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just rambling. I'm just old heading over here, but I don't think there's any reason to change any of this stuff, in my personal opinion. Man, my voice has been so scratchy lately. I apologize, dude. I've been like under the weather for the past like week or so. So look at that. Look at that. Move right past him, Seth. Oh, wait, that's Fred VanVleet. I thought I put the bench in. I did not. My bad. Oh, dude, he just kind of torqued me on that one. Okay, you have Seth Curry. Why are you just attacking? Whatever. This man called a timeout literally at the beginning of the second quarter and then just let the thing time out the entire time. Like, I don't know what this guy is up to. He is changing like everything he possibly can to get some advantage right now, and it's still 14-14. And yo, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, dude, but you're not even playing someone who's really particularly good at the game. Like, you're playing somebody who pines for the days of white grape, white owl filled mids. You're not playing top tier talent, dude. You really need to reevaluate. Oh, here we go. Here we go again, dude. Like, I spent my formative years smoking mids in a laser tag parking lot, all right? This is not an esports hero you're dealing with right now. I'll give that to Michael Porter Jr. Look at that finesse move, dog. That's what I'm talking about. That's where they taught you in whatever private school you probably went to. Like, if Michael Porter Jr. went to a public school, I'd be shocked, but I'm pretty sure he went to, like, some, like, private Catholic school with, like, a very overpowered basketball recruiting program. That would be my guess. I'm going to have to look into that before I start slandering Michael Porter Jr., but I'm not really sure, you know what I mean? Yo, get in there, Fred VanVleet. I know exactly what high school you're from. We went to the same one, dog. And it was not a nice place, so I know you got toughness. All right, there we go. Oh, Kawhi, big boy. Big move. All right. Kawhi's nice. You know what? I said he wasn't going to be that good in my video yesterday. And to a certain extent, I am right. He's not as broken as people thought he was going to be, but he's still a great 3-and-D wing. All things considered. He plays lockdown defense. He can hit wide open threes. Can't really create for himself, which is fine. We don't need a Kawhi that can create for himself at this point. You know? Wet jump shot, though. Great defense, great size. He's going to steal the ball a lot. If he's going to do the things you'd want Kawhi Leonard to do, minus the playmaking. You know what I mean? That's all he really can't do. He really can't create his own shot. And if you're okay with your small forward not being able to do that, then you're good. You know who can create his own shot? Darius Miles. The GOAT of mid-2000s combo forwards. Technically speaking, I think Lamar Odom was probably the actual combo forward GOAT, for being real. Like, he was probably the most successful out of all those, like, mid-2000s guys, like Sharif Abdul-Rahim, the GOAT Stromile Swift. They're all the GOAT, now that I think about it. Darius Miles. Oh, yeah? Jeremy Lamb is tight, by the way. Oh, Arvydas Sabonis. Let's go, big boy. Okay, no, that didn't work. There we go. Up and under Derrick Jones Jr. Oh, you peasant. You coward. Come on, I'm recording a gameplay. If you're watching this video right now, I'm just messing with you, dude. But you are a peasant and a coward for leaving, because that's rude. Derrick Jones Jr. was just heating up, dog. I didn't even get to shoot any threes with him. I'm so wet with Derrick Jones Jr. What is this? What is this fuckery by 2K right now? It has been taking me like 20 minutes, like, to load in and out of games. I don't know what's going on. Comment down below if you're having the same issues, but I just don't get it. I don't understand what's happening. Like, why is this occurring to me right now? Like, this has to be happening to other people, I would guess. Like, because I've been getting error coded too. Like, I don't know what 2K did to their own servers, but they like nuked them. It's pretty not good. This is keep going. Oh my god. By the way, I would like to, in regards to the packs, when it comes to the box topper, I just had someone say this to me on Twitter. They said, no, the reason they're expensive is because it's a guaranteed amethyst or up. It's not. It is a ruby and up. And I would say 95% of the time it's going to be a ruby. So it's either going to be James Worthy or Darius Miles, probably 95% of the time that you get the box topper. So, and that's probably why Duncan Robinson isn't as cheap as I thought he was going to be, because people are actually getting him pretty frequently, but not every time they open a box topper. So that's probably good. Finally, I did get an error code. That's great. If I got my loss taken, or if I got my win taken away, I'm gonna be upset. All right, I got my prize. We're good. Yeah, I didn't have pack luck today, but I don't have to sweat it out any more limited. That's what I'm talking about. As always, it has been your boy Cheap Leads. Now look, Kawhi and Fred VanVleet didn't make a big impact on my team. You could use anyone in those spots. The key was showing off the sapphires that you should use, and I hope I did that well. So, hope you guys have success. Let me know when you guys get your ring down in the comments below. And as always, like, have a good day, man. I will be back with more videos. I'm going to talk about the market later and stuff like that. So, peace.